Hello, everybody. We're still here in Wancheese, just having a great time, getting to meet a lot of new people. And yeah, I know recently there was a post that Ivy Daniels had posted on Workboat Life and had a picture of his dad crabbing, and all he talked about how special his dad is to him and what he's meant to him through the years, and how blessed he is to have had him and have him still. And um, so you all are all, loving that and commenting about, how special that was, have a great tribute to his dad like that. And so it was suggested that I come down here and interview him. So I'm being blessed now where I have the opportunity to sit with Mickey Daniels. That's Ivy's daddy. And sit down right here on his dot and talk with him. So I'm getting ready to bring him on now. This is Captain Mickey Daniels. How you doing, Mickey?
Good.
Good to see you.
Well, I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah. But we ran down this morning, and I'm glad I came. I mean, it's a nice setup here. This kind of stuff I'm used to, and I feel right at home here. And talking with you a little bit before, I mean, I feel right at home talking with you, and so I know we're going to enjoy hearing your story, and tell us about growing up here and crab potting and, your boat, the whole works. We love to hear that. So I guess were you raised here in Wancheese?
Yeah, I was raised here. I was born in Portsmouth, Virginia. My dad and his family moved up there during World War II to work in the shipyard, and that's where he met my mom. And so they married, and I was born in Portsmouth, and not long after I was born, then my dad built a house here, and it's where I was raised, and this is where I've been the whole time.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
All of my grandparents are here. They've been here a long time. My great grandparents, and they were all fishermen, crabbers.
Yeah. So you were born right into the business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, it started here, right?
Yeah.
And you want to tell us a little bit about how you got started, how old you were when you started, and
The crabbing part, or that, and the crab picking plant too, or what?
yeah, the whole works.
Yeah. Well, when I was probably 6, 7, 8 years old, I used to go out crabbing with my dad mornings, and then when I was about 10, he bought a crab picking plant over at the bridge at Nag's Head, and every summer I'd work with him in there 6 days a week, about 10 hours a day, all summer. And when I got about 16, 17 years old, I saw these crabbers that he was buying his crabs from. They were making more money than I was and putting in less time. So I got my granddad, he had a little 16-foot rowboat, we called it. And I found an old 15-horse Johnson, and I bought that and put it on there and got me some crab pots and started crabbing. And I crabbed in that probably about six years. The size of it probably weren't much over a foot tall.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'd catch a lot of crabs. One of the old fellers, when I come into the dock one morning, he saw me going across the sound there coming in. He said it looked like a black snake going across there. Had so many crabs on there, she was almost sunk.
Yeah.
And then my dad built me a boat in 1971, which was a little bigger. And then in 1978, there was a local feller here who was a party boat captain out of Oregon Inlet. In the wintertime, he would build boats when they weren't doing the party boating out of Oregon Inlet. And I got one of the first boats he had that he built. And 1978, that's still what I'm using now.
Yep, here she is right here behind him.
Yep, she's made out of juniper, no fiberglass. I've took good care of her. So
I like the sheer and the flare on her.
Yeah.
That's perfect for going out
You
here.
could tell he was a little bit party boat in him.
Yeah, right. It's pretty.
Yeah, and I still would go out crabbing mornings, and I'd get in, I'd help my dad here on the dock load his truck. He probably had 15, 20 crabbers that he bought crabs from. and also had the picking plant. And one day he'd take the crabs to Norfolk to a picking plant there. The next day to Belhaven to one there, and I would work with him there the rest of the day. He died in 1988. And when he did, I took over running the crab plant.
Mm-hmm.
But I put people in there so that I could still go crabbing every morning.
Right.
I just didn't want to let that go.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
So I've been doing it for 57 years, still doing it. And people ask me now, when are you going to retire? I say I don't have any idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to push it as long as I can and do all I can. And I feel like it's to my advantage physically, mentally, and a little bit financially. Not much as it used to be because I can't fish as many pots as it used to.
Right.
So,
I tell everybody all the time, keeping going is what keeps you going.
Yeah.
And as long as you're happy doing it and want to do it, you should.
Yep. Yeah, I got caught in a couple hurricanes a couple times, about 80-mile winds.
Uh-huh.
I want to tell you.
On her?
Yep.
Wow.
I'm going to tell you, I'm a chicken.
Well,
I weren't very brave.
You definitely
it was a bad time.
You definitely got to respect a situation like that.
Well, I didn't purposely do it.
Yeah.
But some situations come up, and one time it was the eye went over. I thought it was over. When she come around, I'm telling you what, I thought I was gone. Then another time, another one was moving up from Wilmington, and she weren't hardly moving. So I said, well, I'm going to go take my crab pots up.
Right.
Before I got through, she'd sped up, come right through here. So I weren't very brave. I thought I was gone.
Well, you still sitting here, so you must have fared through that pretty well.
I made it, yeah. You better know what you're doing.
Yeah. Man, if you hadn't got them pots, they'd been a clear mess. No telling how many you'd be able to find or whatever. I mean, every time you have a blow, you got to chase your pots down. And
well, that's part of the job.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep, but anyway, I've raised 5 children on it, and some of other people's children along with them, and my wife's sister, and never was rich, never had everything, but everything's been good.
I'll tell you something else. I've told some of them that there's people out here that have plenty of money. They've been all over the world. They've done all kinds of things, but they ain't had the life you've had.
No,
no. You've had a great life.
Yep. I actually went to COA in Elizabeth City after I graduated high school, and went there for 2 years, graduated with a 2-year business administration degree. Graduated, and the next day went back crabbing.
Yeah, that's it. When you get in your blood, you ain't going to get it out. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
We had one that been crabbing for a while, and he just left to go work at one of the terminals with shipping containers and stuff. He needed some steady money right now. We said, oh, don't sell your boat. It won't be long. You'll be back out there.
Well, when I was younger, weren't many crabs. I weren't doing much. So me and my uncle, we crabbed too. We went and put our name in to go on a tugboat up out of Norfolk.
Right.
One of the local fellows was a captain on it. So a few weeks, my uncle, he got a job as a co-captain on it. And about 3 or 4 months later, they called me and said, well, we got a job for you. I said, well, my dad just built me a new boat, and I can't do him like that.
Yeah, right.
So I never went. That's the closest I ever come to quitting, but it didn't happen.
Right.
So,
well,
I figured I could take care of my family better, and would have retirement insurance and all of that. But I took the better place.
Yeah. You got to be where your heart's at,
Yeah.
So, but like picking and all that, I mean, was things just changing so much? And I mean,
in the crab picking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Y'all know you got your crabs around here?
I have some tomorrow between 10 and 11 o'clock. I don't have any right now.
Okay. What are you selling for? How much?
Each day sometimes is different. I wouldn't know what to tell you until tomorrow.
What's the usual? Can I get your number?
Is this gonna mess you up? I'm doing an
yeah,
interview right now. It'd be better just stop back by here tomorrow
What time would that be?
between 10 and 11. All right.
All right, thank you.
The crab picking plant, the ladies that we always used here locally, they kind of died out. The younger people didn't want to do it, and so I set up to get the ladies out of Mexico on the work visas.
Right.
So that actually saved the crab picking plant probably an extra 15 years of work that we were able to continue. But then every year the government was getting more involved. You had the price was going up. Your regulations and rules to get them out of Mexico, or there was more things that you had to do to get them. And then the crab meat that I was trying to sell, that when I would try to ship it up to New York or Philadelphia or Baltimore, they'd say, well, I just bought some from Venezuela at such and such price. Well, I couldn't even pick it for that price, much less make a profit on it.
Right.
And so I got old enough that I was tired of, I guess you'd say, fighting.
Yeah.
And so we closed it down about 6 years ago. And my mom, she actually still owned the building and the land, and I owned the business part, which I got from my dad.
Right.
And this dock here was part of that when we had the crab plant, so I kept this. And now I have 3 or 4 other crabbers. I buy their crabs too and ship the bushel baskets in New York.
Okay.
Every day, which this year we hadn't had many crabs, so that's kind of been, I just sell them here locally because I can't get enough to ship out this year.
Right.
It's the first time this has happened. And,
right.
But it'll get better.
Yeah.
And I don't want too many at this age anyway.
Yeah, I hear you. That's right. But when I talk to the picking houses at home, I mean, they're having the same struggle. And I mean, they talk about how it just gets a little worse every year. So, we don't know how long they'll be able to sustain it. But, they're going to hang in there as long as they can.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, and you said she was built in 78, right?
Yep.
Something I meant to tell y'all earlier, he's telling me she's built out of juniper. Yep. So, she's in good shape. But she's a pretty boat. And, and I was going to say, what is that, a 70 Johnson?
Yeah, I rebuild my own motors.
Look, let me show y'all something. He got reserves back here. I was told by somebody else that every winter he rebuilds one of them so he can have a fresh engine for that season. So, I tell other people, you've been at it a long time. You know what works for you, and you do what works, Where some people, as things change, they think they got to just keep changing everything. But you know what works for you.
Yeah, I haven't been much on change.
Yeah. Time always brings change, but that don't mean you got to change everything.
Well, sometimes just a little bit, but not much.
Right. That's it.
Yeah.
So I admire that. I think that's great. You're sustaining yourself, Yeah. Keeping it going. So that's important. But I can tell you that, your son, he wrote a great post, talking about how much you mean to him. And when I've talked to other people trying to make sure I could find you down here, everybody spoke very well of you. You're well respected here in the community. So, we want you to know that.
Well,
all the younger watermen, they look to you all, to be showing them the ropes, showing them how y'all learn, how y'all go about it. And
well, my son that does the boat transfers up and down the coast, he went over to visit my other son in Ecuador here a few weeks ago, and he put a thing on there. He was over there trying to show those people in Ecuador how to drag little shrimp nets. They don't have no tickler chain on them. They don't use what they call a tickler chain.
Right.
And he was trying to get them to do it, and my other son told him, look, leave them alone. They've been doing this for years, and it don't work for them.
Right.
And finally my son said, well, it'd be kind of like if you went back to Wancheese and told my dad that you had a different or new way to crab or a better way to do it, and he wouldn't do it. He'd keep on doing what he's doing. Right. It didn't matter how better it was or how good it was.
Right.
You weren't going to change his mind.
Yeah.
So I'm at that age.
I was interviewing one of our old salts at home, and he's been crabbing forever. He crabbed pot in the summer, dredge in the winter.
Yeah.
Um, we were talking about how things have changed some, and he said, if you'd have told my daddy that or granddaddy that we was going to bait the pots with clams, he wouldn't even let you on the boat. You know, he said, you used a bunker. You didn't need no clam. And I said, yeah, when I was crabbing back then, we didn't have no razor clams and all that. You used what you had.
Yeah.
So, but do you have anything? Has any aspect of it been your absolute favorite, or have you had that big catch that just always sticks with your memory?
Yeah, we did. It was trying to think. I think it was the year my dad built the first boat for me, about 1971.
Mm-hmm.
We would start crabbing in the spring, maybe in March.
Right.
And for some unknown reason, we had the most crabs I think we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was unbelievable. And you could go out there and fish. If you fished 100 crab pots,
Mm-hmm.
you would get 20 fish boxes of crabs.
Wow.
2,000 pounds.
Yeah.
That was 20 pounds of crabs to every single pot.
Wow.
And I ain't never forgot that. It was just unusual. And everybody, everywhere they sit, all over,
Mm-hmm.
same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And but like you said, when you get that many, they're hard to sell and they're cheap.
Yeah. Right.
And it's a lot of more work.
Yeah.
So
I retired from the city a year and a half ago, and some of my buddies at home, they're like, oh, yeah, we know what you're going to do. You're going to rig up some pots now. I said, no, I ain't. They said, yeah, don't even try to tell me that. I said, I'm telling you, I ain't rigging no pots up. And I said, look, I got a pension coming in every month. Why am I going to go out there and be competing with you, flooding the market? You know, I said, I ain't going to do that to you. I said, y'all out there making a living.
yeah. Well, like I said, I got the 2-year business degree, but I just somehow I like being able, I guess you'd say, being your own boss.
Sure.
And not having to contend with everything that goes along with businesses and things like that. I'm by myself.
Right.
I've never used a mate or anything like that.
Right.
PBS done that documentary on me.
Uh-huh.
And the last question that they asked me, I was sitting on the front porch, said, that was when I had the crab house. I had about 15, 18 crab pickers.
Right.
I had about 15 crabbers here at the dock.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had 6 or 7 other workers in the crab house. And they asked me, they said, what is the hardest part of your job? I said, putting up with people.
Yes, it is. I'm telling you. I was operations superintendent with City Newport News. I was managing 50 employees, and that was a mess.
Yeah.
I can tell you that right now. You know, if you got good people, it's a good job. But if you don't, it's a headache.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this on here too, that you know I've loved doing workboat life. It's been real special to me. I spend a lot of time doing it. But sometimes dealing with people on here, you get one or two that want to start fussing about everything or criticizing each other real hard. And I tell them, look, you fish your pot your way, let them fish their pots their way. What difference does that make to you, you know? And I say, if you got a beef with somebody, you need to go to them in person.
Yeah.
I don't try to air that out here in the public. I mean, some people, that's their thing, you know, but dealing with the people can be a mess.
Yep.
That is the hardest part.
It's always been a mysterious thing how many millions of people there are, and every one of them has a little bit different something in them that's different from everybody else.
Yeah.
And some people can't deal with that.
Right.
They think everything's got to be just like they are.
Yeah, that's right.
That ain't life.
Nope.
So don't mess with me.
If we were all the same and every day was the same, and you know how boring that would be. And I was telling somebody else the other day that when we're creative, we're all given gifts and talents, you know. And some of us are fortunate enough to realize what our gifts and talents are, and we operate in them and enjoy it, you know, have a great life. And then some people just don't quite figure that out. through time, and they struggle. They have a hard time, and
Yeah.
it's sad, but you know,
Yep.
I know I'm glad I can say the Lord's blessed me. I know that. So,
Yep. Yep.
but
Couldn't make it without it.
yeah, that's it. Well, we've been on here quite a while, and I ain't trying to tie you up all day. I know you got a lot of stuff to do, but
Well, that will never end.
yeah,
So
that's
I'll
right.
just take it a little bit at a time.
Right. Is there one last thing you want to share or say to everybody or shout out to your family or whatever? I mean,
Well, in life, family is one of the most important things there is.
yeah.
And I was blessed with 5 children, a good wife.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, she was 16 years old when we got married.
I hear that.
And she had 5 children within the next 10 years. And she's done as good a job as I have.
That's wonderful.
And here we are. I got 7 grandchildren, 1 great-grandchild, and another one on the way.
Wow. That's great.
So, yep.
Well, I know they're proud of you. I mean, that's how this all started, and
Yeah.
I'm glad to be able to sit here with you. I mean, that's a real honor for me. And
Well,
you gave your time today and open sharing, and this, believe it or not, is going to help some people.
well, I hope so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And whether it helps them or not, I mean, there's a whole lot of people that's going to enjoy seeing this, and they're going to be coming back to it all the time. So, I finally realized how important it is to try to capture people and let them tell their story in their words. And I wish so bad I'd realized it earlier,
Yeah.
because this generation that's gone that I could have reached out to. But we talk all the time how it's so amazing the people that did take pictures back in the day, because everybody didn't walk around with a camera in their pocket.
Nah.
And so, I mean, now everybody's taking pictures everywhere. But if we had have known how important that would have been now, we could have took a lot of pictures back then. It would have been so amazing.
Well, my daughter called me just before you come down here, and my birthday's Monday, and she was making some kind of, she wouldn't tell me what it was. She wanted to know if I had any pictures of me when I was young and was surfing on the beach.
Oh, boy.
Said, you didn't have no cameras or cell phones or nothing back then. We didn't think nothing about that back then. I said, no, I don't think I do.
So your birthday's Monday.
Yep.
You mind saying how old you going to be?
75.
75.
Yep.
All right.
3/4 of a century.
That's it.
I didn't think I'd live to be 60.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you the best birthday. Sounds like your family's getting something special set up for you.
Yeah.
And so I hope y'all will enjoy it.
Well, we will, as long as there's some cake and ice cream there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a lot of fun talking with you. So.
Well, I'm glad you were able to get something out of it, and
yeah.
I hope.
Was there? Did you want to mention somebody that you asked me if I knew them at home, and some of your people up that way, or I mean that's up to you. But we were talking about different ones you knew up there in Virginia.
Oh, Jeremy Bonneville.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did business with him for years.
Right.
And he calls me every now and then, but
Uh-huh.
that was when my business was a lot bigger and I was a lot younger.
Yeah, that's a shout out to you, Jeremy and Trevor.
When I was getting ready to close the crab house, he wanted to know what's wrong. I said, the fire's going out of my belly, and when you get this age, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Oh, boy. Yeah. My dad used to tell me, you wait till you get 50. You wait till you get 60. You wait till you get 70. He knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I'm going to let you off here. I know I've had you tied down, but it's been a pleasure, and we really appreciate it.
All righty.
And we thank all of y'all that's been watching, and, just we'll see where we end up the next time. So, thank you.